Hey Eagles fans, welcome back. Today we are diving deep into the latest buzz surrounding the Eagles coaching staff. And trust me, there is a lot to unpack. Let's start right at the heart of the matter, Jeff Stoutland. This man has been a cornerstone of the Eagles' offensive line for over a decade, 13 years to be exact, and he's been through it all. Countless offensive schemes, highs and lows, 2 Super Bowl victories, and he has never been the subject of serious complaints. But now, with all the recent chatter about changes to the offensive staff, the news about Jeff staying or leaving has really shaken up the fan base. Personally, the thought of him being sidelined or stripped of responsibilities just doesn't sit right with me. There's so much more beneath the surface than what the headlines are telling you. Looking back at Jeff's tenure, it's hard to point to many genuinely bad seasons. You could maybe argue a couple of rough years, most notably the season when Carson Wentz struggled behind the line, but even then, when you dig deeper, it's not fair to place the blame solely on Stoutland. Wentz had a tendency to hold onto the ball far too long, often 10 seconds or more, and that alone created sacks and hits that made the offensive line look worse than it really was. The narrative that the line was failing consistently under Stoutland just doesn't hold when you consider injuries and individual quarterback decisions. Last season, for instance, the offensive line was plagued with injuries. Lane Johnson was out. Cam Jurgens wasn't at 100%, Landon Dickerson was battling health issues, and Jordan Matta had his own complications. These setbacks affected both the run game and, to some extent, the passing game. To me, that is not a reflection of Stoutland's capabilities. Given a healthy, fully functional offensive line, I truly believe he could have maintained top-level performance for years to come. Now, I know there's a lot of debate among fans and analysts. Some argued that Stoutland's play calling should be taken away, that his run game duties should be reassigned. Personally, I never bought into that. It just didn't make sense to me to remove responsibilities from someone who had proven success and who had been through thick and thin with the team. And yet, that is exactly what happened. Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni decided to step in and handle the run game planning without consulting Stoutland, effectively sidelining one of the most experienced coaches in the organization. It was a bold move, but in my eyes, it was disrespectful. You had a coach who helped guide Miles Sanders and then handled a nearly record-breaking season for Saquon Barkley in the past, and suddenly his authority was undermined. That decision did not yield the desired results either. It hurt team dynamics, it hurt egos, and it created unnecessary tension in the coaching room. Reading about that situation, I could not help but feel frustrated. This wasn't just about strategy, it was about respect, about valuing the experience and history that a coach like Jeff Stoutland brings. To completely remove his responsibilities without even a conversation or collaboration seems, frankly, snake-like. It's one thing to suggest changes or make adjustments, but it's another to dismiss a veteran who has contributed so much. And that's exactly why there's so much emotion around the discussion of Jeff's role. His legacy speaks for itself, from building a dominant offensive line to managing successful running games and supporting multiple quarterbacks throughout his tenure. Moving on to the quarterback coaching situation, there's also plenty to analyze. The speculation around possible candidates has been intense. One name that surfaced was Connor Sager, a young coach in his early 30s who has experience working with Kyler Murray and has been recognized as a rising talent in the league. On the surface, he's intriguing. He has energy, new ideas, and a reputation for innovation, but I have some reservations. When you pair a young quarterback like Jalen Hurts with a young, relatively inexperienced coach, it's not always the most ideal scenario. Sometimes what you need is a seasoned veteran who has been through years of high-level NFL coaching, someone who can provide stability, guidance, and a wealth of knowledge to support both the head coach and the quarterback in a pressure-packed environment. A more appealing option seems to be Greg Olsen, the interim offensive coordinator from the Raiders and a highly respected quarterback coach with a long history in the league. Olsen has coached numerous quarterbacks, understands offensive systems, and brings a level of experience that can complement a younger offensive mind like Sean Mann. I like this pairing because it creates balance. A youthful, energetic coach who runs the show, supported by a seasoned veteran who can mentor, advise, and provide insights from years of NFL experience. It's similar to the way a dominant defense operates. You have young athletes full of talent and physical ability, but their development is guided and shaped by veterans who can pass on knowledge, instill discipline, and help them navigate the complexities of the league. That's exactly the dynamic I think the Eagles need in their coaching staff right now. At the same time, I have to give credit to Scott Laylair, who often doesn't get the recognition he deserves. His work in the red zone last season was crucial, especially in maximizing efficiency and creating scoring opportunities for Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert. Laylair's adjustments and innovative strategies in tight spots helped elevate the offense and allowed key players to shine. Even though the team decided to bring in new faces and restructure responsibilities, Laylair's contributions were significant, and it's a shame that he won't be staying in the same capacity. The red zone success, the record-breaking moments, all of that had his fingerprints all over it. Overall, the conversation around the Eagles coaching staff is about more than just wins and losses. It's about respect, experience, collaboration, and making sure the team is set up for long-term success. Stoutland's tenure, the quarterback coaching situation, the handling of responsibilities, and the integration of young and seasoned coaches all play a role in shaping the offensive identity of the team moving forward. There are tough decisions to be made, but at the core, it's clear that the Eagles need a balance of innovation, guidance, and respect for the veterans who built the foundation of this team. Continuing with the Eagles coaching saga, another critical point to discuss is how the offense adapts under Sean Minn's leadership. He's young, ambitious, and clearly wants to make his mark, but that also comes with growing pains. You cannot overlook the fact that new leadership often comes with a learning curve, especially in a complex offensive system like Philadelphia's. There are multiple moving parts: the quarterback, the offensive line, the running backs, the tight ends, and even the wide receivers. All these components need cohesion, communication, and trust. Sean Minn may have big ideas, but without a carefully structured support system that includes experienced mentors, those ideas may not fully translate on the field. That's why the conversation around bringing in a veteran quarterback coach like Greg Olsen is so important. It is not just about drawing up plays or having a strategy sheet. A seasoned coach provides mentorship, a framework to navigate pressure situations, and insight on opponent tendencies. They can help a young head coach anticipate defensive adjustments, fine-tune in-game decisions, and guide player development in ways that experience alone teaches. For example, understanding how to handle a four-man rush with limited protection schemes or adjusting the red zone attack when a defensive front shifts unexpectedly. These are lessons often learned over decades in the league. That is precisely the type of guidance that could have made a difference last season and could be pivotal this season. Without that support, the young coaching staff risks running into repeated mistakes, leaving potential untapped, and creating unnecessary tension among players. Looking closer at the quarterback position, Jalen Hurts continues to evolve as one of the most dynamic dual-threat quarterbacks in the league. He has the arm, the mobility, and the football intelligence to succeed at the highest level, but he also needs consistent guidance. Quarterback play is about timing, reading defenses, and making split-second decisions under immense pressure. The right coach can accelerate that growth, help refine mechanics, and instill confidence in moments when the defense is bringing relentless pressure. We saw flashes of brilliance last season, but there were also instances where split-second hesitation led to sacks or missed opportunities. Those moments are teachable, and the correct coaching staff could be the difference between a playoff team and a Super Bowl contender. In parallel, the offensive line situation cannot be understated. Health and cohesion are everything in the trenches. Last year, injuries to key players like Lane Johnson, Cam Jurgens, and Landon Dickerson disrupted rhythm, created mismatches, and limited the effectiveness of both the run and pass game. It was not a reflection of the coaching staff's inability, but rather the reality of an NFL season where injuries can derail even the best-laid plans. Stoutland's leadership, experience, and ability to adapt to different line combinations has been critical over the years. Removing his responsibilities or marginalizing his influence disrupts continuity, and fans often underestimate the intangible value of a coach who has spent over a decade building relationships and trust within the line. Another factor to consider is the balance of youth and experience across the entire staff. Football is a game of mentorship. Young talent on the field thrives when paired with experienced guidance off the field. Think about the dominant defenses you see across the league. Young athletes like Nico Dean, Jalen Carter, or Jordan Davis bring explosive athleticism, but it is veterans like Brandon Graham who provide perspective, strategy, and insight that shapes them into true professionals. That model should be mirrored in the offensive staff as well. A mix of youthful energy and seasoned wisdom allows ideas to flourish while preventing mistakes that could cost games. A young coordinator brings fresh creativity, but without the structure and insight of veterans, innovation alone is insufficient. The narrative around the recent staff changes also highlights how internal dynamics impact performance. Removing Stoutland's run game duties without consulting him not only undermined his authority, but also risked destabilizing player trust. Players often form bonds with specific coaches, understanding their style, tendencies, and methods of communication. When those bonds are disrupted suddenly, it can affect morale, timing, and execution on the field. The quarterback, running backs, and offensive line are all interconnected in the execution of plays, and their confidence often reflects the confidence they feel from their coaches. A misstep in management can ripple across the entire offense, regardless of talent. Similarly, we must acknowledge Scott Laylayer's contributions in the red zone. His strategies were key to maximizing scoring opportunities, and Dallas Goedert's record-breaking performances were a direct reflection of his coaching acumen. Laylayer's approach in the red zone added creativity and adaptability to the offense, highlighting how specialized coaching impacts results. It's a reminder that success in the NFL is rarely about one person. It is the combined effect of coordinated coaching, player execution, and strategic planning. Losing or reshuffling these elements without a plan for continuity can disrupt everything. Looking ahead, the integration of new coaches must be strategic. The goal is not simply to replace or refresh staff members, but to create a cohesive system where ideas flow, accountability exists, and players feel confident in their roles. For a young head coach like Sean Min, surrounding himself with experienced coaches provides both a safety net and a platform for growth. At the same time, it ensures that the lessons of past seasons, the institutional knowledge of veteran coaches, and the subtle nuances of the team's offensive identity are preserved. Balance, respect, and collaboration are critical. Without them, even the most talented roster may underperform. Finally, the discussion is about more than just wins and losses. It is about culture, mentorship, and setting the stage for sustainable success. The Eagles have built a reputation for resilience, adaptability, and excellence, and their coaching decisions will either reinforce or undermine that foundation. Stoutland's presence, the potential addition of Greg Olsen, the development of Jalen Hurts, and the management of younger coaches are all intertwined in determining the trajectory of the team. Each decision sends a message about values, priorities, and the long-term vision. Fans, analysts, and players alike are watching closely, and the impact of these choices will be felt far beyond a single season. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments, and let's talk birds. Whispers around the league suggest that Josh Allen may have given the Eagles more fuel than they needed. According to those close to the situation, the Bills' quarterback's confidence spilled past the usual competitive bravado and into territory that didn't go unnoticed across the field. Nothing officially inflammatory, nothing that would make a headline on its own, but enough side comments and public confidence to be interpreted as talk that went a little too far. Inside Eagles circles, the reaction was quiet, almost calculated. Jalen Hurts, known for his controlled demeanor, reportedly didn't engage in any back and forth. Instead, he let the moment breathe. Teammates say Hurts absorbed the noise, internalized it, and turned it into focus. The response, according to those who witnessed it, wasn't loud or theatrical. It was epic precisely because it was subtle. Hurts' answer came through posture, command, and execution. From the opening sequences, he appeared locked in, projecting calm authority while directing an offense that looked prepared for every wrinkle. There was a sense that the Eagles were playing with something extra, as if a switch had been flipped by outside doubt. Coaches and players alike hinted afterward that motivation had been found in the margins, in the things said and implied before the matchup. Around the league, the prevailing speculation is that this moment reinforced a growing narrative. The Eagles operate on a different emotional wavelength. While others talk, they respond with discipline. While confidence is spoken aloud elsewhere, it is carried quietly in Philadelphia. Hurts embodied that contrast, offering a reminder that leadership doesn't always require words. Whether Allen truly crossed a line or not may never be confirmed. What remains is the perception that one quarterback spoke and another answered in the only language that truly matters on the field. For many observers, it was yet another signal that the Eagles, guided by Hurts' steady hand, continue to set the standard in how superiority is shown rather than claimed. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.